Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lena Saleh, the Edtech Guru, where we explore all things Edtech and education related. I want to thank you so much for following along on this journey. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, and comment below. All right, let's do this. I'm sure you're wondering, oh, we're going to talk about COVID again. The fact is that COVID is a new part of our regular, normal, day-to-day life. As the cases increase, even with self-isolation, the new norm of COVID hanging around every corner is just the reality of which we live in. How is that going to affect not only school reopenings, but conferences and all things that we live, do, breathe in the education space? In an earlier video, I discussed how COVID-19 was going to really affect the reopening of schools, how buses were going to continue, and how reopening of schools might consider a hybrid model. However, as more and more reopening plans are being released, we know that most schools are not considering a hybrid model. They are choosing to give parents a choice. The choice is 100% online or 100% remote. There is no variance between the two options of which parents would choose. This can prove to be difficult. This can be difficult for parents who have to return back to work. This can be difficult for teachers who don't yet feel comfortable to travel back to the school site and deliver daily instructions with germy kids who don't know how to social distance and most definitely don't know how to wash their hands. There is a real issue with giving parents choice between 100% online and 100% remote. There have to be very detailed guidelines for what it means to be 100% remote and what it means to be 100% on-site. You also have to determine what it will look like for teachers. Is a teacher delivering content online and in person? Is it going to be live streamed throughout the day? How will we hold those students accountable who are at home and are not attending live lessons? There are so many unknowns. And we know that every single day something new happens which changes our outlook on how COVID-19 actually works, how it's actually infecting people, and how we can actually keep safe. At the beginning of COVID-19, we needed to wash our groceries because we believed that it was still living on groceries. A few weeks later, it said that COVID-19 was airborne. A few weeks after that, or maybe even hours after that, that was no longer a true statement. Once one type of medication worked, later another medication didn't work. And it continues every single day with a different varying opinion from day to day. What I will caution, and will probably push a really hot button for people, is that we don't want to have a be-all end-all like we've seen for COVID-19. The issue that we can directly see from across our government is how there has been inconsistencies from closing to reopening to reclosing to reopening, and the cycle continuous. Also continuing with the communication with stakeholders, meaning us. If we only did that at a school site, open the school, close the school, open the school, close the school, we would have very angry population of people. Is that fair? Is that how we are going to continue running our school? It is so important to collaborate with not only your state, your district, your city officials. The truth and reality is that parents are going to be having to go back to work, whether it's in December, whether it's in January. It's not going to be a continuous life at home. People are itching to get out. It's summertime. You can't go to the pool. You can't go to the parks. What are we to do? Imagine how trapped you're feeling, how trapped the students are feeling. We will also have to incorporate a lot of different skill sets that we've learned over this time. Black Lives Matter, COVID-19 pandemic treatment, for trauma. Students are traumatized. I'm traumatized, aren't you? So when schools begin to actually open, to remember a lot of things come into play. How we can safely keep our students in our classroom. Since students are not required wear masks, what happens when a student comes to school and infects the entire class? Does everyone stay out of school for 14 days in quarantine? Does the classroom across the street stay home in quarantine? Does instruction stop? There is a wealth of unknowns. District leaders, I know your job is hard. It is the hardest job that you've had to do in a really long time, and the day-to-day job is already hard. This adds an extra pile and weight on your shoulders to carry. However, you have to prepare for every unknown situation just like you do in your day-to-day life. I continuously have to remember to stock up on toilet paper and make sure that I have necessities in my fridge and freezer, something I never thought I had to do before, to make sure that I don't run out of groceries in the case that tomorrow Austin City decides they want to shut down their doors for 34 days. We have to be mindful. So if you go 100% online, amazing. 100% remote, amazing. If you're giving the choice to parents, you also have to give the choice to teachers. It's very essential for both parties to be very involved in this, being that we're asking our teachers to now become frontline workers. And we cannot increase the caseload of which they carry. This is why preparation for truly online immersive learning is more important now than it ever has been before. We need to prepare our world for what could potentially happen, starting right now with flipping professional development upside down. I recently was talking to my own sister, who I've mentioned before, works in a district in Colorado to remain unnamed, and their district still has yet to discuss reopening plans. Surprising as it may be, July is the month that's usually slow for educators and industry leaders to take a break from the day-to-day action. It's the only time in which superintendents and principals get their summer break. However, what's a break when you're trapped inside? Might as well start continuing discussions on contingency plans. ISTE, EdSurge, multiple podcasts have been preparing for this by having multiple discussions with lots of educational leaders, superintendents, DOTs, IT, everybody that you can think of that's kind of in that headspace. Cannot expect for a teacher to come into the classroom and prep for an in-classroom and online session. If you do that, you need to decide and divvy up roles. You do not need 1,000 teachers to do curriculum planning for every single student. It is time to collaborate. Collaborate now, collaborate yesterday. It is time to pick up those pieces and start pushing them in motion. I blinked my eyes and realized that I've been inside since March. Not been able to travel, not been able to do anything, and I was instantly shook. It's time to shake it up. We cannot wait. Austin ISD has done a fantastic job with having calls with parents and industry leaders, constantly keeping their parents in the loop about what they're going to do, and then sharing their findings weekly with parents and stakeholders, just like the government has been doing with us with COVID-19. It is important now more than ever to prep ourselves for what's to come. Online immersive experience and learning is no longer a question. It is a must-do. And while I know that budgets are going to have to be succumbed to purchasing technology equipment for every single person in your district, it's going to be a non-negotiable. Think about what you need to do to prep these students for the 21st century and already start talking with your IT department on how you're going to distribute devices and get them to teachers and students and parents safely, as well as the safe return for them. You need to have policies in place for if the devices get broken, if they are ruined, because you will no longer be on site to be able to take care of those things. And we know I had a brand new set of netbooks back in the day and Chromebooks, and one student went like this on accident, tripped over like, who knows, air, dropped the computer, and everything shattered. They say it's indestructible. They're not. So how are we also going to prep for that as well? It is time to get ready for this online immersive experience. Time to start doing professional development with your teachers. There are so many educational conferences happening right now that are online. Nevada just had a really amazing conference online. They had multiple sessions. Every session was a Zoom session, and everything was encouraged to be as interactive as possible. You can take something from this in that it's time to make our learning also interactive in that same sense. Make it easier for the teachers. If they have a presentation, can they upload it to a place where it can be a little bit more fun than just the rote memory and memorization tools that students have been given? Not learning is not an option. Students have to learn. We know that the summer slide is already huge when they've been out of school for this many months. So we need to give them the tools and start also working on assessment. I know here in Texas, they say it's a non-negotiable for students to take the state test. So what can we do to prepare our students for what's still going to be expected of them, as well as giving them tool sets, picking up from the summer slide, and supporting them in the best way that we can? Ed Global is doing a very global conference with industry and educational leaders from all across the world. They are organizing this virtually. It's the first time that people will be able to collaborate all across the world. There are sessions all the way from the morning to the nighttime to accommodate all of these different people. What an amazing experience. Who would have thought that I could be teaching somebody in Australia and also teaching someone in Great Britain and teaching someone here in Texas all together, and they'd be able to communicate with each other along the side, creating a greater global PLN than something we've ever seen before. If conferences can do this in a quick way, we can do this also. We are in this together. Remember to ask for help, work with each other, do what we ask students to do on a daily basis. It's time. It's time to get these students and ourselves future ready. With such a world of unknowns, we have to get ready for this immersive experience and take a cue from what others are doing and how other industry leaders and how just regular industry is preparing their workers for this day-to-day world. Once again, thank you so much for joining me on this journey. My name is Lena Saleh, the Edtech Guru. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!